joy, he hears the doctrine, his mind full of joy. That is the sort of person to whom it should be preached. 4. Furthermore, the word evam occurs at the beginning of Buddhist texts. Present happiness, future happiness, the happiness of nirvana, all happiness has its roots in very powerful faith. 5. Furthermore, all religious heretics imagine that their own doctrine is subtle and absolutely pure. These people exalt the doctrine that they practice and denigrate that of others. That is why, here below, they quarrel and argue. After death, they fall into hell and suffer immense pain of all kinds. As stanza says, attached to their own doctrine, they blame that of other people. Even by observing moral conduct, they do not escape from the torment of hell. In the Buddhist doctrine, all attachment, all false views, all pride of self is abandoned and cut. One becomes detached from them. Thus the FAU King says, if you have understood the sermon on the comparison with the raft, you must abandon the holy Dharma, a fortiori, a Dharma. 1. The Buddha himself is not attached to the Prajnaparamita, why then would he be attached to other doctrines? That is why Buddhist texts begin with the word evam. The intention of the Buddha is as follows. My disciples will not love the doctrine, will not become attached to the doctrine, will not have factions, they will seek only freedom from suffering, deliverance. The nature of Dharma is free of empty discussions. Thus in the Atapoki King, Mokian Ti Nan, spoke this stanza. 1. To define dharmas. Various notions are wrongly applied, rejecting inner and outer. How will the path be attained? The Buddha replied, it is not by view, tradition, knowledge, or morality, that it is attained. It is not by absence of view, tradition, etc., nor by absence of morality that it is attained. It is by abandoning all this chatter, by also rejecting the me and the mine, by not grasping any real nature, that the path can be attained. Makandika said, if it is not by view, tradition, etc., nor by morality that it is attained, if it is not by absence of view, tradition, etc., nor by absence of morality that it is attained, then according to my reasoning, it is by observing a doctrine of silence that the path is attained. The Buddha replied, you are depending on wrong views. I am aware that you are deluded about the path. You have not seen the deceptive notion, consequently you will be silent. 6. Furthermore, to say, my doctrine is true, the other doctrines are deceptive, my doctrine is absolute, the others are wrong, such is the origin of quarrels. Here the term evam designates a doctrine free of quarreling. Listening to the words of others, it declares, this man is not wrong. That is why the Buddhist sutras begin with evam. The meaning of evam has been explained in brief. Maya. Let us now speak about the word Maya. Question. In the Buddhist doctrine, it is said that all dharmas are empty, and without a substantial self. Why do the Buddhist sutras begin with the words, thus have I heard? Answer. -1. Although the disciples of the Buddha understood the non-existence of self, they conformed to current usage, and speak of a self, but this Atman is not a true Atman. Thus there is nothing ridiculous in exchanging copper coins for gold coins. Why? Because the rules of commerce demand it. It is the same when we speak of Atman. In a system that sets up the thesis of the Anatman, we can talk about the Atman. By conforming to current usage, we do not incur any blame. Thus a stanza of the Tien Wen King says, if he is an Arhat Bhikksu, whose impurities have been destroyed, and who is in his very last existence, can he say, it is I? The Buddha replies, an Arhat Bhikksu, whose impurities have been destroyed and who is in his very last existence, can say, it is I. In current usage, we speak of the Atman, but not from the absolute true point of view, for all dharmas are empty, and devoid of substantial self. In current usage there is nothing wrong in speaking of Atman. 2. Furthermore, current language has 3 roots: wrong views, pride, convention. The first 2 are being pure, the third is pure. In all worldly people, the 3 types of language, wrong views, pride and convention, exist. In the Sikhs on the path of seeing, there are 2 types of language, that of pride and that of convention. In the ayas, only the conventional language exists. Without inwardly condemning the true doctrine, they imitate ordinary people and borrow their language. Rejecting the wrong views of the world, they conform to usage and avoid quarrels, thus they reject the other two impure roots of language. By conforming to the world, they use only one kind of language, i.e., conventional language. The Buddhist disciples who speak about the Atman, by conforming to usage, are not committing a fault. 3. Furthermore, the objection may be made to people who cling to the doctrine of Atman and who claim that it is true and the rest is false, in this way. If, according to you, all dharmas are truly without substantial self, how can you say, "Thus have I heard"? But here the disciples of the Buddha do not cling to emptiness and the non-existence of all dharmas. Neither do they cling to the real nature of dharmas, nor a fortiori to the doctrine of an Atman. That is why they cannot be reproached or asked why they speak of self. Thus, in the Qingluan Madhyamaka Sastra, some stanzas say, "If there were something non-empty, there should be something empty. But if the non-empty does not exist, how would the empty exist?" The fool who sees the non-empty then sees the empty as well. Not having positive views or negative views, is truly nirvana. Non-duality, the gates of security, the destruction of wrong views. The domain surveyed by the Buddhas, that is the doctrine of an Atman. The meaning of Maya has been explained in brief. Srutam. Let us now speak about the word srutam. Question. What does the word srutam signify? Does it mean by means of the ear organ, or by means of the auditory consciousness, or by means of the mental consciousness?